You guys remember this story.
Fairness in women's sports. She did it by taking a knee and refusing to compete against a biological male at a tournament over the weekend. The referee's response, a black card, the sport's most severe penalty, which means expulsion from the tournament.
Well, you know what? They're not going to put it on mainstream media because there's been a complete update on this, a 180 in fact. And if they're not going to talk about it, your boy is. How are you good people doing, my American brothers and sisters? Welcome to the channel. I am Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man, in which I'm greatly appreciative of. Make sure you guys are following me on the platforms you see up here and down here. Clicking this thumbs up button is how my content can stay consistently recommended to you. And if and when you do subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell notification that will bring down the drop box for you to select all notifications. That way you'll be notified when I post a video. Last but not least, don't forget to check out my other YouTube channel called Man, Husband, Father, and subscribe over there. And everything I'm asking you to do over here, make sure you do it over there. I really do appreciate it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing you guys this update because I know that a lot of the mainstream media news are not going to cover this story. And if y'all recall, there was a young woman who forfeited, which I showed y'all in the beginning. She forfeited because she did not want to compete against the man, and they gave her a black card and pretty much expelled her from the tournament. Well, there has been a complete turnaround, and she fought tooth and nail for it, like right here.
USA Fencing has over 200 self-declared members who identify as transgender. Each time a man competes in the women's category, with USA Fencing's support, it removes fair sport and takes opportunities from women. Fencing is a combat sport, a martial art of sorts. There are elements of speed, power, reaction time, distance control, footwork, and blade work, all attributes affected by sex development. It's not uncommon for a quicker, more athletic opponent to overcome the technique of another fencer. Athleticism is powerful in fencing and works in equal parts with strategy and technique. It's unbelievably demeaning to female fencers to put down the differences between men and women and any woman's loss to a man as a skill issue, or that a woman simply needs to work harder. Within the USA Fencing authoritative body, there is a culture of intimidation towards women which demands that we be silent when men enter our tournaments. A culture that includes public humiliation, doxing, social ostracism, dismissal, and even threats. I went from avoiding tournaments with known male athletes to reaching out to news outlets to get this story known. The USA Fencing, up until my protest, has been unresponsive to women's demands for fair fencing, and instead doubled down on efforts to promote male inclusion in the female category.
Now, you would think that she would have the backing of every woman, right? But during that time when all the woke bullcrap was going on, nobody wanted to come and back this woman up except for real women and real men who knew there was a clear fundamental difference between men and women when it comes to sports, okay? Anyway, I'll bring you guys the good news right here. And here it is right here. U.S. Fencing changed its transgender and non-binary eligibility policy to exclude men from participating in sanctioned competitions for females, right? And rightfully so. The announced changes take effect August 1st, in a few weeks, in a week or so. The fencing organization had come under fire for allowing biological men to participate in USA Fencing sanctioned events in a manner consistent with their gender identity / expression, regardless of the gender associated with the sex they were assigned at birth. Now, U.S. Fencing has amended its policy to state that women's category is for athletes who are of the female sex. Transgender females, biological males, will compete in men's category. Whoa, who would have thought? Which is open to all athletes not eligible for the women's category, the sanctioning body announced. USA Fencing said the changes were made to align athlete eligibility policies with a federal executive order, which is sad. Not a fundamental biological difference, but because President Trump put an order in there, executive, right? And if they wouldn't do it, they knew that the federal funding was not going to come in. But what's really sad about this, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that they do not and would not have cared about keeping this thing going on had it not been for Trump doing this. And ladies, you're welcome. You're welcome. Ladies, y'all should be even if you do not like Trump, you should be thanking Trump for what he's doing for women's sports right now, because you guys were going to be completely dominated by men. And it's completely amazing to me that a lot of you women, when it comes to something like this, you cried about feminism, you cried about equality and everything like that. But then y'all didn't say nothing about men getting into y'all spaces and beating y'all. Men were being better at being women than what women were. We were winning beauty pageants, ripped the runways. We was beating you guys in fencing, beating y'all in basketball, beating y'all in swimming, beating y'all in soccer. And y'all didn't have nothing to say because you allowed that radical feminism dumb stuff to kick in. You couldn't say nothing. What could you say? Because if you said something, you would be considered some sort of phobic. You would be filled with hate if you said something against something that is a natural, biological, fundamental thing you can see with your own eyes. Anyway, USA Fencing again said that they were making these changes to align with athletic eligibility policies with the federal executive order. That order, keeping men out of women's sports, made by President Trump on February 5th, was designed to protect opportunities for women and girls to compete in a safe and fair sports. However, USA Fencing new policy does not apply to unsanctioned fencing events or activity, the organization said in its announcement on Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, that is just all outright a darn shame that we even have to do something like this. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I told you I want to bring y'all this good news. I want to know, what are you guys' thoughts on this? And do you think that the individuals, these women who were being dominated by men in these sports, do you think, whether they like Trump or not, they should at least be grateful for what he did? Y'all let me hear it in the comment section below after this video. And don't forget to do what you see in the animation right here. The next video that I will be doing in chronological order after this one's going to be the one up there. Things I did as of yesterday you may have missed right here. I am Ty Smith, Model Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, praying every last one of you guys in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.